being a journalist or an ex-journalist, I always do far more research than is necessary. And so with the Jump, there's about that much research and about that much tip book. And it was absolutely thrilling because the most wonderful world I've come across is the National Hunt. I love the polo world, I love the show jumping world, but the National Hunt people are absolutely wonderful. I mean, they go out in all weathers and see these horses jumping, and the jockeys are so brave and terribly glamorous, and much more hunky than flat race jockeys. And flat race jockeys, well, like Randy Little, Jack Russells, but jump jockeys are tough and glamorous, and the trainers are very obsessive, because they have to train about, it's like being a schoolmaster, and you have about 40 horses or 100 horses to look after, concentrate on them, and all the owners are ringing you up and saying, what's happened to my horse, why hasn't it won? So they're very uptight, the trainers, and very sexy, but uptight. And I mean, it's what war in Afghanistan, I mean, they're so blinkered. They have no idea, really, what's going on in the outside world. And they were fascinating. And then they have wives, and the wives always get off. There's a lot of jumping around and people getting into bed with other people. There's some equine sex in the book, which is nice. I have a heroine horse called Mrs. I have gone right away from the research, but I have a heroine horse called Mrs. Wilkinson, who's very small. And so I had to, she has a bit of a flutter with somebody. But the lovely thing was, because she's a rescued horse, and she's rescued in a wood, and her eye's been knocked out. And so I had to research one-eyed small horses. And so I had a wonderful time going and interviewing a horse called Daisy down in Brighton, who's won masses and masses of races, has a huge following. And Daisy sort of sulked like mad when people, she hadn't enough attention, but she was a darling horse. And another, my best horse, was a horse I met called Baron Romeo. And Baron Romeo was so vain, he would examine his reflection in puddles. And one day he was in a race, doing quite well up with the leaders, and suddenly he caught sight of his reflection in the wide screen, and he cantered across the course completely against all the other horses and admired himself. It's an absolutely true story. I think it's so funny. And horses always do funny things, and there are lots of dogs. And so there's lots going on, there's jockeys, but I interviewed lots of, I went down to Martin Pipe's place, and I saw most of the important trainers, and I talked to most of the, AP McCoy is a wonderful jockey, just won Grand National. He's terribly glamorous, and he broke his back and came back again and won the Grand National. So I mean, they're very exciting people to meet, and the hospitality is amazing.